Hello, it's the Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. Today I've got 3 replays to show you in the Tier 8 Czech Premium Tank Destroyer, the TVP 100. Now I've got 3 replays to show you in this tank today, and that is because this tank is available right now to earn for free as a contract. So I thought I'd get some replays in to show this tank off. The first of the replays here is on ruberg, where there is one enemy light tank, no enemy tank destroyers, no enemy artillery, and it's a tier 9 matchmaking. Now what do I think of this tank? This tank is basically a glass cannon tank destroyer. It has no armour whatsoever. You've got 250 alpha with 270 penetration on your standard AP rounds, which is really decent penetration for a tier 8 tank. We do have very slow shell velocity of 897. You then have 330 heat pen again, but you have very slow shell velocity of 795. And then the key feature about this tank is you have HE rounds with 100 penetration, but for 420 alpha. So if you're able to use those HE rounds, those HEP rounds, effectively against those lighter armour targets like the Borsigs, the light tanks, waffles, etc., you can rack up a lot of damage very, very quickly with those HE rounds. Now, ruberg is probably not the ideal map for a tank like this, and I have played fairly aggressively quite early because I just get a bit bored, if I'm honest with you, on this map sometimes. We have quite a few tanks coming with us. I don't have to worry about artillery. The main problem is this light tank here, which is sort of spotting this area up. We know there's a super Hellcat here somewhere, which we're looking for. The concealment of this tank is very decent. It's very stealthy, and I've got a concealment down to about 245. That's that super Hellcat, which has lost its camo rating because it's just shot at me and fired. We should be able to take out this super Hellcat and maybe clear a path here, because a lot of the enemy tanks are in the town area, which I don't really want to be brawling in that town area. But I've got sort of a hunch that there's not many tanks down there, and it's just this light tank. So I'm going to try and push down and use the concealment to hopefully get down the end and then get shots into this light tank. We do get spotted as we cross, and we do manage to make it to the end though. There is a little dip where we can almost go sort of hold down in, or just get under the gun line. Obviously we can't really go hold down this and to use our turrets, we've got no arm whatsoever, but more so just to use the dip to get out of the gun line of the enemy team. And now we're in a position where we can actually farm this tank, this heavy tank, which has got spotted here, and we're just using a decent concealment value here, trying to keep him tracked in place with the good reload this tank has, and pick up a bit of damage on this tank. The one sort of problem I've sort of found with this tank is you only have 6 degrees of gun depressions, and I do feel like it'd be a lot better if we had just slightly more gun depression on the tank, because it can be a little bit awkward to play like that when you've got sort of no armour whatsoever. We do get a nice shot there in the light tank. Like I say, you do have to lead your shells quite a lot because of that slow shell velocity. But we're trying to get as many shots in this light tank as we can. I want to try and focus this light tank out because it's the only light tank in the game, and it's the biggest threat to spotting us. Once we've taken care of this light tank, then it's going to give us a lot more freedom to try and sort of move around the map and try and get some, find some shots in the enemy tanks. But I am getting detected, and obviously it's a light tank. I'm getting targeted as well, and I haven't managed to be able to hit too many shots into this light tank right now. I'm trying to get, no one's really shooting him. I think he crashes, and then we're able to get a shot in. We do get shot by another tank there, which we're not too sure what that was. It's obviously a stealthy tank destroyer or something with some decent concealment value. So I've got to be very, very careful of where I am. Like I say, if I do spot anything, then I've got a lot of tanks which can cover me, which will be able to put some shots in. But the second this light tank dies, it's going to give us so much more freedom, because it is still a fairly close game. We are winning this. It's 3 tanks up, but yeah, it could go either way. We get a nice shot into the light tank there. If we was using our HEP rounds there, we probably could have finished them off, or we would have finished them off with one shot. But I didn't use it mainly because there's so much cover in the way. I didn't want the HE shells to be absorbed by any sort of destructible cover. But we do manage to pick up the kill on the light tank, which gives us a little bit more freedom there, putting us onto 3 kills and 3,100 damage with 7 tanks remaining. And now it's looking a lot more comfortable for us. We get detected by the tank destroyer, which I suspect shot us earlier. We're trying to lose our spot so we can try and get some more shots in some other tanks. There's a standard B, which I don't think quite has any shots at us right now, but it's mainly this TD which would be able to shoot us. We're trying to pull back and use the cover of the sort of bushes to sort of boost our concealment value, because we're only on 500 hit points yet now, and we don't really want to throw our tank away. But the TD comes out and gives us lots of opportunities to get some shots in now. Now hopefully we'll be able to pick up a kill on this tank. It gets taken out by our friendly Sturv though. We do pick up a tiny bit of track assistance for the remaining of his hit points. And now at this stage of the game, it's just about, you know, how much more we can get out of this game, because we're clearly going to win it. We've done sort of the hard work. It's 11 versus 6. We should be able to just pick up some more damage here, get the finishing shot on the standard B, giving us 4 kills there, putting us onto about 4,000 damage with 4 tanks remaining. Going to try and come around the back and hopefully just get some more damage before this game comes to an end, because it'd be hard pushed to probably lose at this point, but you know, you never know. We get 1 shot into that heavy tank there, putting us into 4,200 damage. I'm just trying to lose the spot, because there is still a TD. I think there's a tier 9 Soviet tank destroyer hit, which can probably one-shot us, which we've got to be careful of. I think it's the last tank remaining. Going to see if we can get any shots in. I don't quite have any shots. I should be able to get a penning shot here though. Go through the lower plate, and then he gets taken out, and that brings us then to replay number 1. But we've got 2 more replays to come, so let's just see how we finish that one off. We finished it with 4 kills, 4,500 damage, 120 assistance, and I think that's the first class. But a decent game to begin with, and 2 more replays to come, so let's move on to the second replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2. This time we're on Arctic region. It is tier 8 matchmaking. There's 2 enemy artillery, 2 enemy light tanks, and initially we're going to go and try and play the sort of middle sort of centre rock, if you like, which is quite often used by sort of stealthy tank destroyers or medium tanks. And we're going to see what we spot and just get an idea, get a feel for the battle, and then we can sort of see what we want to do from there. But we do get detected on the way through by a enemy light tank who's playing very, very aggressively, and it's a little bit of a pain, a little bit of a nuisance for us, because he's now in a position where he could potentially get rear shots onto us. But I think at the moment he's probably trying to focus on that tank destroyer down the bottom. So I'm just going to sort of keep an eye on that tank. If he does come back out, I want to try and get some shots in, but I've got to be a little bit careful, because I don't want to get farmed from the rear. But we're going to try and push over and see if we can use these bushes to spot some tanks, because nothing was really happening. We do spot a enemy tank destroyer in a sort of usual camping sort of tank destroyer base spot, which you often find stuff, and we also spot a Tiger P. Now this is sort of where the camo comes in, you know, onto its own really. You know, we're shooting this Tiger P. We are shooting through bushes, so there's very slim chance of them actually spotting us there. And we managed to pick up some assistance and pick up some damage as well. Get a nice shot into the Borsig there. And then this Super Hellcat gets spotted, where we managed to snap that shot in. Hopefully it gets finished off. It does get finished off by our friendly Emil, and that's sort of taken care of that angle. And at the moment I'm sort of just being a little bit patient, but I'm also thinking, do I want to try and move across and sort of spot the cross, yeah, the other side? Because no one's really spotting the north of the map right now. So nothing's really, you know, we don't know what's there right now, and I would kind of like a bit more information to see if any of the tanks are over there. Just being a little bit patient in case anything does cross and we can try and get a shot in. But you can see I'm just weighing up what I want to do. Do I want to sort of move here? Do I want to try and go and do something? I think that light tank behind me has got taken out, so I don't have to worry about that tank. But like, this sort of position's not really working for us right now. So we are going to try and move and see if we can find a different angle to try and get some more damage in this game, or just find a different approach to this game. So we're going to try and move up to the sort of north position and see if we can spot anything here. I'm just going to poke here because this tank's gets spotted, and we're just going to try out our camo in this T-32, but we do get detected, I think, from the light tank actually on the left, not from the T-32, or maybe we've got detected from a tank destroyer on top of the hill. But We do pick up a little bit of assistance there, and that enemy light tank gets taken out on the left hand side of the map, which is very handy for us because that's going to give us a little bit more freedom. We get a nice shot there into the King Dragon, and I'm actually going to play, this game. You can see we're suddenly winning by quite a lot, and I feel like I need to get into this game to try and just be a bit more aggressive to get something more out of this game. So we are going to push. We do know the King Dragon's there, but we also know we've got a lot of tanks covering us. So if that King Dragon wants to poke and put a shot into us, he's going to eat a lot of damage. But he's decided to fall back and try and go back to his base, which is probably the smartest thing to do, because if he full centers, he's probably going to die in that scenario. So hoping that we can try and get some shots into anything sort of by surprise here. Got to be a little bit careful, because if I poke round too far, the tanks on a sort of ridge to the right hand side, if they decide to come back, can get shots into us. We do spot the enemy artillery. We get a nice shot into him there. Again, we could have penned him with the HEP rounds, but we didn't really know if we was going to get an opportunity to do that. It looks like a lot of the tank destroyers are camping around this sort of ridge around the back at the base, and I'm hoping to try and get some shots in here and pick up a bit of damage. Get one shot into the King Dragon, putting that King Dragon onto a one shot. I should be able to finish this King Dragon off. But if you look round on the right hand side, there is tanks now coming back to defend the base, and I don't want to get caught out by those tanks, so I'm going to pull back to sort of safety and hopefully get into a position where I can shoot those tanks if they try and poke round to get shots into our friendly team coming around the base. Got to pull back a little bit further, and like I say, I'm hoping they come round. But it looks like this Borsig is going to full send us. Now this is a perfect opportunity to swap to the HEP rounds, because we can definitely pen that Borsig and take away a lot of his hit points. So we do get a nice shot in there with the HE rounds. Hopefully we can try and get one more in, which we do, rolling for 413. You can see the difference in your DPM. If you're penning those HE rounds, it makes us a massive difference, boost on your damage. But you just got to find the right time and the right targets to get those damaging shots in with them. We do pick up the kill there on the enemy tank destroyer. Should be able to farm this IS-3 now. We would like to try and track him in place and actually just pick up a bit more damage before he gets back into safety. But wasn't quite able to do that. We do pick a couple of penning shots in, and there's only 2 tanks left now, so it's just about, let's just go in and try and get a little bit more damage in. We can eat a shot or two, and to be honest, these tanks, this game's won. It'd just be nice to try and pick up another shot. So we come round, do manage to finish off the IS-3, and then that brings us an end to that replay number 2. Let's just see how we get on before we move on to the final replay, where we do get 3 kills, 4,500 damage, 900 assistance, getting a high caliber in the first class. But let's just move on now to the final replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for the final replay then on Abbey. Again, it is tier 8 matchmaking. We do have 1 enemy artillery in the game. I think 2 enemy light tanks. So initially I wanted to play this side, and I was hoping a few of our tanks would come down and spot it for us, because quite often sort of camping tanks directly in front of us. But really we've got someone to sort of spot it, and that's not really going to happen, because I can already see there's no tanks with us. I've got a friendly tank destroyer, and I've decided, you know what, I'm actually going to try and push forward and spot it for my friendly tank destroyer behind, and maybe pick up a bit of assistance damage. A little bit risky, because this is not the ideal play to be making in a TD like this. You kind of really normally want to be sort of more patient and catch tanks off guard. But I've decided I'm going to be aggressive anyway, because I do have this TD behind us. He slaps that Dreadnought, putting him onto a 2-shot to us, and then he gets finished off. I think actually I was Caliban, which slapped that Dreadnought there. And we managed to pick up a tiny bit of damage. We don't actually get any assistance here. But we're just going to try and battle this out now. Now, if these tanks want to push me, they're going to get shot by our friendly TD. And they're going to get shot by our friendly artillery. So I'm just trying to keep them detected right now. And just want to be careful, because if they do full send me, I need to be able to try and get safe. Should be able to get a shot into that T29. Kind of fluffed a kill shot there, which is a shame. But I'll probably get another opportunity, and I do. And so far, I've not had any damage out of that engagement. And I think it's just this enemy mouse breaker here, left now. So I'm just going to try and fight him. Like I say, I'm not really in the right tank to do it, but I've got the advantage of I have stuff covering me. So if this Mousebreaker wants to come round onto me, he's going to have to get shot. And now we can just get this Mousebreaker low enough hit points. We can just eat a shot in order to finish him off if need be, because we're going to be able to probably get 2 shots in before he reloads. He fires, and we managed to get a shot in there. I think actually he's firing a small gun, but we should be able to try and get another one in if possible. Unfortunately, we bounced. Like I say, we've got 270 pen on the standard rounds, which is really decent pen. So we can even just go through his basically just turret with that amount of pen. So it is really decent penetration. We do manage to pick up the kill, pick up a little bit of assistance and 1,000 damage. Now it's the enemy artillery. We get 1 shot in there. He fires, he misses, which is good. Get another shot in. Now we swap to the HEP rounds just to make sure we definitely roll high enough to finish this tank in 1 shot. And we do, and we pick up our 2nd kill of the game. Still very even game, 12 versus 11. Tiger P's coming behind us. We're just going to wait for this, and we should be able to make quick work with this DPM this tank has. Unfortunately, we do ricochet that shell, but he then gets slapped by our friendly Caliban, putting him onto a 2-shot to us. We then pick up a final kill, putting us onto 3 kills and just shy of 2,000 damage with 8 tanks remaining. We managed to win this side. We did a pretty good job considering we didn't have anyone really there to spot for us. We kind of just had to do it ourselves, just go alone. There's some tanks which I hopefully should be able to get some rear shots into, so I'm going to try and push up and get some shots into them because this damage is starting to fade away and I need to try and get this gun slinging. We should be able to get a shot into the T32. Now there is a light tank to the right hand side, but I'm just trying to get another shot to try and finish off that T32 there. Wasn't going to happen. Now I'm going to swap to deal with this light tank. Again, I should swap here to the HE rounds because then I'll be able to penetrate this tank. I do this time swap to the HEP rounds, HE rounds, and you can see here we hit him and we hit him for 440 and set him on fire and pick up another kill. And that's just a beauty, when you can use those HE rounds, do it, because you've got 100 pen. You can pen quite a lot of tanks with that, and it just makes a significant difference to the DPN of the tank. We then managed to quickly pick up a 5th kill, putting us on to just shy of 3,000 damage. Got an opportunity maybe for a Top Gun or even a Devastator here. So we're going to see what we can do. We've got this Paladin here, which also has very good DPM, but he's caught in a very sort of awkward position, getting shot by lots of tanks. So we're going to try and do our best to get as much of the damage on this tank as possible. Put him onto a 1-shot, got a very quick reload. We might be able to squeeze in the kill. We do picking up 6 kills there with 3 tanks remaining. We then quickly pick up the 7th shortly after on the T32, and that leaves us with 2 tanks, and now I've got a possibility of a Radley's. I'm not going to be able to get to that medium tank before he's taken out. I think the easiest, well, the closest one to me is the enemy G-Sword tank destroyer, which was on about a 2-shot, and he's up in this ridge somewhere, I guess in the middle. Swap to the mini map, small map, to see exactly where he was, and we have found the G-Sword. We're going for the death jump, and we pick up the kill, getting ourselves the 8th kill of the game, confirming the Radleys. I am now stuck. I cannot get out of this position, but I think it was well worth it in the end. I'm pretty sure our team are going to manage to finish off this 1-shot medium, and they do. And that brings us an end, guys, to the video. So let's just see how we got on at the main screen. We managed to pick up 8 kills, 4,200 damage, 800 assistance. That should be the ace tanker. It is, and that brings us into the video. So thank you so much for your support, and as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!